Hey there, friends. Oh my goodness, why does this have been live for a minute? I don't know. That's very interesting. Hey there, let me get this live on IG. Alrighty, already. Yes. Hello there. Good evening. Happy Tuesday. Hey there. Okay, so super excited. I am live on Instagram, my profile page on Facebook, my business page on Facebook, and where else am I? My holistic health and empowerment community. And YouTube. Yeah, I figured that out today. So I'm so proud of myself. Can't you tell? Anyway, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sharice Williams. I am a holistic health and empowerment coach. I'm also a former ICU nurse. And what I do is I teach busy, high achieving women how to heal their bodies with the foods that they eat, the thoughts that they think, and the words that they speak so that they can reverse and prevent disease. So that is me. And I'm so excited to be here with you today. If you see me looking here, because I'm talking to Instagram. If I'm looking here, I'm talking to everybody else. So anyway, so I shared with you yesterday that I wanted to talk today a little bit about processed foods. What are processed foods? Because I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. What's processed foods? Why should we even care? What does it do to our body? And more importantly, what should we be eating? So that's what I want to cover today. And this actually stems from a conversation that I had, and some of you guys have heard the story that I had with one of my cousins. And I was out walking, and she texted me, and she said, "What are you doing?" And I texted back, I'm like, "Hey, I'm out walking." And then she said, "Oh yeah, I need to do that too. I can't figure out why I can't lose weight." And I said, "Well," and so I'm walking, but I'm texting. I'm like, "Well, could be a variety of reasons." I said, "Could be what you're eating." Well, I say it could be a variety of reasons. More importantly, what you're eating. And I said, "Are you eating a lot of processed foods?" And she was like, "Oh," she went back, "Oh no, I cut all that out." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And I said, "So what? So what does a typical day look like for you?" And she proceeds to write everything that she wrote. It was processed food, and I literally had to stop. And I was like, "Wait a minute." So I texted her and I said, "Okay, do you realize that everything you wrote above is processed food?" And she was like, "No way." I'm like, "Oh yeah," which made me start to think, how many people don't really understand what processed food is? And so I asked her, "So what did you think when I said processed foods? What came to mind?" And she said, "Oh, I thought you were talking about like greasy hamburgers and French fries." And I said, "Well, yes, that's processed food." I don't know what's going on with my computer. I said, "Well, yes, that is processed foods, but it's definitely more than that." And so, because of that conversation, I said, "You know what? I probably need to share this with more people because the truth shall set you free, right?" So here's the deal: what's processed foods? For me, the easiest way to explain what processed foods are, basically, if it comes in a box or a bag or has a label with a list of ingredients, rest assured it's probably processed food. So what might that look like? Cereal, cheese, bread, cookies, lunch meat, juice. Yes, even juice. So for those of you who've ever juiced fresh apples, it does not come out looking like that big container of Mott's apple juice, right? That brown color. That's not what fresh apple juice looks like. Even the orange juice, the Minute Maids and the Tropicanas, um, the taste even is totally different than when you juice fresh juices, okay? Fresh oranges, for instance. So pretty much best way to explain it is if it has a label, comes in a box, comes in a bag, for the most part, it's processed. And so you might be thinking, all right, so what's the problem? Like, why is that even important? This is why it's important. This is why it's important because processed foods are full of sugar, sodium, and fat. Why is that important? Because all three of those things have a direct correlation to obesity, right? I wrote the statistic down somewhere. Yes, over 40% of Americans are obese. Even more interesting, over 70% of Americans are either overweight or obese. 70%. That's like almost everybody, right? And so obesity. What happened? I don't know. I don't know what happened to IG. Something happened. So obesity, heart disease, which is the number one killer for men and women, heart disease. It's like 30 million people. 30 million people have heart disease. That's 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4 people. Okay. hypertension, diabetes, and I'm talking type 2 diabetes, right? So type 2 diabetes, 34 million Americans have type 2 diabetes. It's like 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10 people. And maybe they don't have diabetes, but they're pre-diabetic. You know how many people are pre-diabetic? Do you know? 88 million. That's a lot of people. 88 million people. That's like 1 out of 3 people. Insane. So that's why it's important. That's why it's important that we understand what processed foods are and what we can be eating, should be eating in lieu of processed foods. Okay, so I know that's your question. Like, all right, so now that you mentioned all that stuff, what should I be eating? I'm so glad you asked. So glad you asked. So what we do know is food has a direct correlation. What we put in our mouth has a direct correlation to how our body function, operates, looks, feels, for that matter, right? And so some of the things that you can eat. Easiest way for me to explain this one is we should be getting the majority of our foods from the produce department. So fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, raw seeds, raw nuts, not the chocolate covered almonds, but raw almonds, right? And you might be thinking, well, I don't like raw almonds. And then my suggestion would be, just try it out for a little bit. This is what happens. So our taste buds adapt to what we give it. So if we're giving it lots of sugar, lots of sodium, lots of fat, that's what it's going to crave. That's what our palate gets used to. But conversely, when we start giving it fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, raw seeds, raw nuts, our palates adapt to that as well. And in fact, your body starts craving more natural foods. We just have to allow that time for that transition, and it's different for everyone. Okay. And so pretty much if it has a label, so think about this, eat as close to nature as possible. Right. And so that's why I say the majority of your food should come from the produce department. When you look at the produce department, or when you go and grab a banana from the produce department, there's no label on it that says bananas, ingredients, ... No, it's just bananas. Broccoli, ingredients, ... No, it's just broccoli. It's just broccoli, whatever, right? And so real foods don't have labels, don't require labels, right? And so I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, what am I going to eat? If I'm just eating foods from the produce department, what am I going to eat? And I'm so glad that you had that question. So this is what you can do. You can join me tomorrow inside my holistic health and empowerment community. Some of y'all are already watching this. If you're watching this on YouTube, so in my holistic health and empowerment community on Facebook, right? I go live every single Wednesday in the kitchen with my Eat to Live show. I'm in the kitchen preparing something delicious, nutritious, and quick, because those of you who know me know that I do not like to spend a whole lot of time in the kitchen. Okay. And so if you would like to join me in the kitchen for my Eat to Live show tomorrow, which is Wednesday, just type in the word link down below, and I'll just make sure. You can always search for it on Facebook, Holistic Health and Empowerment Community. But if that's just too much for you to do, type in a link, and I'll be happy to just drop the link to you, and you can access it that way. So that is it, my friends. So I encourage you, next time you go grocery shopping, take a look, just do an assessment of what's in your basket. And if the majority of what's in your basket did not come from the produce department, I'm going to invite you to circle back around and go back to the produce department and get some more stuff and swap out stuff from the produce department with the stuff that you got from off the shelf that has a label, that has a list of ingredients in it. Okay. I know it may sound easy to some of you, it might sound difficult to some of you. I'm not sure. But anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. I'm happy to answer them. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the Eat to Live show. Once again, I am Cherise. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, let food be thy medicine, and let medicine be thy food. See y'all next time. Bye.